Hello everyone, this is Arvind from MindMajix, and today I welcome you all to this amazing session on project management interview questions. Okay, so the whole idea, or you can say the agenda behind this interview questions is that suppose you have an upcoming interview in coming few days or like few hours. So what you can do is if you watch this video till the end, so this video will serve as a revision for your interview. Okay, so whatever questions or the concepts that we are going to discuss here, so by answering those questions, you can revise your concepts that you already know. But if at all there are some concepts or a few questions that you might not be aware of, so even those can be covered by watching this video till the end. Okay, so that is the whole idea behind making such interview questions video. Okay, so without any further delay, let's get started with our first question. Okay, so the first question over here is, what could be the key challenges that can declare their presence while managing a project? So project management is a vast duty, and it needs a lot of experience to closely monitor things and to pay attention to the same. A single error here and there in the development can lead to the failure of an entire project. So this can even impose a strict upper limit on all of its functionality. Apart from this, some projects require integration of core languages, which create a lot of issues. The next big factor is the need for advanced skills to manage the submodules. Apart from this, the project management includes the use of right skills at the right time. Okay, so let's move to the next question. Okay, so the next question is, what is bug management and what is its significance? Okay, so a bug is nothing but an error in coding or any part of the project. So most of the time, it creates a problem related to the functionality of a project. So there are chances of multiple bugs in a project, but bug management is actually done by the testing team. They have to report all of the bugs to the developing team, post which they get neglected. A bug can be as small as it can be eliminated in a few minutes, or it can be a huge one that can affect the whole project. So bug management is important, and without it, there are chances of certain other issues and things that can go wrong. The next question is, what defines the role of a good project manager? So the very first thing is obvious, the leadership quality, following by the right attitude. A project manager is responsible for handling all of the activities and modules related to a project. The manager should have advanced skills to help the team to avoid any problem, conflicts, and other issues. In addition to this, a project manager always motivates the team to get the best out of them. The next question is, can you name the different modules of a project? So the very first one is the blueprint, or the deciding the design or features aspects of the project. Once finalized, it goes to the development phase where a team of developers led by a technical lead pays special attention to its code development. So once designed, it is tested to check if there is an issue with it or not. Actually, this assures the functionality of the project. So once this is tested, it might be used in the beta version, and finally the full version is handed over to the concerned department. The next important question is, how will you define project management? So it is actually the discipline or the conjunction of planning, initiating, controlling, as well as executing a teamwork so that the most desired outcomes can be achieved. So as every project is different from the previous one, handled by any organization in most of the cases, there is always a need to pay special attention to the concerned activities to make the project unique and best in every aspect. The next question is, what is a project goal and what is its significance? So every project, when it needs to be accomplished, is generally divided into small phases or modules. So now each of these modules can be considered as a goal. So accomplishing a goal means a specific module which can be related to the development of a project has been completed. Thus, a number of goals need to be accomplished to meet the final outcome of a project. The next question is, what is project delivery? So when the project is completed, it is simply transferred to the organization for the clients for which it is built. The time of delivery of different projects is different and varies depending upon a lot of features. The next question is, what do you mean by project documentation? So it is actually a detailed report prepared before the execution of anything else or the initial stage of the development process. The next question is, so guys, this particular question is a scenario based question. So depending upon your experience, whether you're a fresher or an experienced candidate, so questions can be based on a few scenarios as well. So suppose in this question, it says, suppose yourself as a project manager who joins an organization when most of the projects you need to manage are about to complete. So here, what would be your plan of action to assure that everything is good? So here testing is one of the best methods that helps to keep up the pace. However, because the projects are about to complete, the same can be called after the completion of the development, as calling the testing immediately needs a lot of time. So testing clearly defines what sort of efforts have been made. And in addition to this, the next factor to pay attention to is the experience of the development team with similar projects. So reporting makes sure everything is fine and can be considered. The next question is, name a few primary constraints of a project according to you. So there are a few primary constraints or parameters that you can consider for a project, and those are time, scope, budget, quality, and compilation with the client's objectives. The next question is, what can be the objective of the project according to you? So it is nothing but to come with an outcome that best meets the expectation of one and all, and it is unique in its own ways. So it must reflect the objectives of the client for which it has been developed for. So the next question is, what factors project management objectives can affect and how? So the biggest impact can be on the budget. So it is quite true that the budget can be enhanced up to a great extent of the objectives that are not paid attention to properly. Optimizing and allocating are the prime factors to consider at the same time, as they can also be impacted by the project management objectives. So in addition to this, the biggest factor that project management objectives can affect is decision making. The next important question is, name the 4 P's of the project management. So guys, as you can see on your screen, the 4 P's of the project management are plan, process, people, and power. So if you talk about the planning, so it defines the culture adopted by a team engaged in project development. So if you talk about process, so a project is basically an array of combination of a lot of processes, and thus a process can be the submodule of a predetermined task. If you talk about people, so it is considered as one of the essential component of any project objective. And last but not the least, if you talk about power, so it is the strong factor that describes the policies, decision making, execution, as well as authority. The next question is, what is effort management in a project? So all the activities related to work on a project are measured by the efforts. So it can also be defined as the proper allocation of time for resources to accomplish any task assigned to them. So communication, focus, motivation, as well as self-discipline are important factors to pay attention to. At the same time, it is necessary to record activities and pay attention to scheduling. The next question is, what do you mean by the term CCPM? So CCPM basically stands for Critical Chain Project Management, and it is basically a strategy of managing a project through planning and coordination. So more emphasis is given on the emphasis of scheduled processes. So critical project chain management is basically a term that is used for projects where complexity related to development, design, bug handling, or for any other modules is higher. The next question is, what is a force in a project? So the workforce is actually the team engaged in any of the modules of a specific project to accomplish the same. So the workforce can be different depending upon the size and objectives of a project. So a stable force always makes sure of most of the desired outcomes in the shortest possible time. The next question is, what is lean management? So it aims to impose a limit on the wastage of time and efforts during the project development. So it makes sure that the development doesn't face any issues due to any factors such as unavailability of resources, server downtime, and so on. The next question is, what is project scope statement? So it defines the scope of a project along with other useful information at the same time. So it is basically developed when a project is in its initial phase. So one of the primary aims is to make the other modules simpler and clearer. So a strong scope statement can also encourage the development and other teams engaged in a project to accomplish their assigned tasks in the best possible manner. The next question is, what are the factors that you will pay attention to about the resources while selecting your team? So everyone in the team should be disciplined and coordinate with each other. The next factor is the right skills required for the timely development of a project. The experience of a team members plays a significant role in this. So selecting the team members that can have specialization in that particular field can always lead to the most favorable results for sure. Therefore, paying attention to it would be beneficial in the long run. The next question is, what do you mean by work breakdown structure? So it is nothing but an approach in which a project is broken down into smaller modules. The primary aim is to pay equal attention to every aspect of a project. The team efforts can simply be enhanced with this, and error-free outcomes can always be assured. It also makes sure of timely deliverables. The next question is it necessary for tasks to be completed in a logical sequence? So this actually eliminates any form of confusion, and at the same time, it makes sure of error elimination. So it is actually not always necessary to accomplish them in a logical sequence. So the tasks which are daunting can be first accomplished so that their impact on other tasks become clear. However, completing them in a sequence always makes sure of the favorable results. The next question is, can you name a few modules of planning in project management? So the very first thing is to get the formal approval to start the task. Next is to pay the attention to the budget development. After this, the next module could be developing the schedule, followed by paying attention to the quality assurances. So it is also necessary to estimate the number of resources required and if there is a need to have some special resources. Finally, the emphasis is to be made on risk planning. The next question is, name a few important methods of project controlling. So guys, as you can see on the screen, these are the few important methods of project controlling, such as expert survey, value benefit analysis, risk analysis, and investment analysis. The next question is, what exactly do you know about phased approach in a project, and can you name the process areas of the same? So it is also known as a staged approach. So it is actually breaking down the task into simple, smaller steps to understand their nature. So it is not always necessary to be the same with all of the projects. However, it has process areas that are similar to most of the projects, and they are planning, closing, monitoring, controlling, as well as development. So guys, the next important question of this session is, what do you mean by SWOT analysis? So guys, SWOT basically stands for strength, weakness, opportunities, and threats. So all of these are related to a project or with a business. So analyzing them assures favorable outcomes in many aspects, and the project manager can make sure of the totally error-free results with this particular approach. So generally, this analysis is performed after the completion of a project. However, it can provide a lot of useful information for the next project to be developed. The next question is, what are the objectives of monitoring and controlling? So there are a few points that you must answer in this particular question. So the first point over here is keeping a close eye on all of the activities related to the project and keeping a close eye on the project variables. Apart from this, risk management and addressing the efforts that went wrong due to any particular reason. So these are some of the objectives of monitoring and controlling in the project management. The next question is, what are severity levels in a project? So in any project, problems can be of different levels, and it is not always necessary that they can be addressed with similar efforts. So there is always a need to understand the right strategies to eliminate them. For this purpose, they are assigned different levels based on the complexity and the efforts required for solving them. And these levels are high, medium, low, and trivial. The next question is, how will you define a stakeholder? So any entity that has a clear impact on it due to any activity related to a project can be considered as a stakeholder. The next question is, what are project baselines? So baselines are nothing but the last stage format of all of the plans related to a project. So it gives clear information about every submodule to the team engaged in the development of a project. The next question is, what is a milestone in project development? So milestone is a situation or a time when specific part of the project development is accomplished. So some experts also define as a situation in which a complex problem has been solved. So guys, with this, we have come to the end of this session on project management interview questions. In this session, we have tried to cover maximum questions. And if at all you have any particular doubt with the questions that we have discussed here, so you can write your queries in the comment section and we will try to resolve them as early as possible. So guys, thank you so much for being with us. And I wish you all the very best for your upcoming interview and have a good day.